Just about everything travels on Union Pacific trains. Everything in your house, everything you eat or touch, the chair you're sitting on, the pencil you're holding. Chances are good they spent some time, in some form, on a Union Pacific train. Union Pacific delivers everything that Americans depend on, from food and fuel to chemicals, building supplies, metals, minerals, and automobiles. We supply the American way of life. That's been our mission from the start. When Union Pacific was formed in 1862 by an act of Congress signed by Abraham Lincoln himself, our first order of business was to complete the Transcontinental Railroad, to connect the nation east to west. We continue to be the railroad that brings Americans closer together and helps communities grow and thrive. Today, Union Pacific delivers far and wide, linking every major West Coast and Gulf Coast port to the eastern part of the country, through Chicago, St. Louis, Memphis, and New Orleans. We're North America's premier railroad, serving all 6 gateways to Mexico and interchange traffic with Canada. Though the nature of our business has remained the same for about 150 years, Union Pacific is always progressing and growing, and looking for better ways to serve our customers and communities. Technological advances have made our railroads safer, greener, and more efficient than ever. In the mechanical department, you may have the opportunity to work with innovative technology such as positive train control, an onboard system that helps trains avoid collisions, as well as electronic and ultrasound devices that monitor our cars and our track. We're most proud of our environmental breakthroughs. Trains are already one of the greenest ways to ship. A double-stack train can take up to 300 trucks off the road, and Union Pacific is leading the industry in green technology. In the mechanical department, we're testing diesel particulate filters that reduce pollution from low-horsepower locomotives, and Oxycat filters that work almost like a catalytic converter on long-haul locomotives. We're even using both hybrid and ultra-low emitting locomotives in our rail yards. Like our environmental efforts, Union Pacific's safety policies are rooted in our deep respect for each other and for the communities where we live and work. The mechanical department began using a program called Total Safety Culture in 1997. For us, total safety culture means safety first, always. It means we look out for each other. When you join Union Pacific, you are entitled to a wide spectrum of benefits and programs, from paid holidays and health insurance to tools, safety equipment, and access to nationally recognized wellness programs. Because of this emphasis on safety and wellness, in many states, Union Pacific will not hire you if you smoke cigarettes or cigars, or use any other product containing tobacco. Smoking is not allowed on company property, including buildings, sidewalks, and vehicles, or at company meetings. We have a zero-tolerance policy for drugs and alcohol. Jobs are subject to testing at any time. Our mechanical department keeps Union Pacific's fleet of 8,000 locomotives and 90,000 freight cars moving safely and on time. Most employees in the mechanical department work in a shop, servicing either locomotives or freight cars. Locomotives are serviced in centralized mechanical shops across our system. Most of these shops are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There are 3 levels of locomotive service. Service track, sort of a full-service gas station for locomotives. Light repairer or running repairer, which handles scheduled inspections and maintenance. And defective component replacement, which usually gets locomotives back in service in less than 24 hours. And the heavy repair shop, where major work is done, such as engine overhauls and heavy accident repairs that may take several days. Freight cars are either serviced on tracks called RIP tracks or in railcar repair shops called heavy bad order shops. RIP tracks handle small repairs. Union Pacific has 61 RIP tracks of various sizes, usually located at major switching yards and other critical locations. We also have 2 heavy bad order shops in DeSoto, Missouri and Palestine, Texas, where cars are overhauled or rebuilt. Depending on your experience and education, you might be eligible for one of these mechanical department careers. These jobs are all union jobs, so your pay, benefits, and responsibilities will be determined by labor union agreements. There are a few skills and abilities that you must have even to be considered for a job in the mechanical department. You will, of course, be expected to work with shop and machine tools, and you must be able to rely on your senses. Visually, can you distinguish between various colors and shapes? Can you judge speed and distance? If a locomotive is moving in the yard, for example, will you be able to judge how quickly it's moving and how close? You'll be expected to troubleshoot, to use your senses and your reasoning to solve problems on the job. Can you recognize changes in size, changes in shape, and changes in temperature? During an inspection, would you notice unusual sounds or smells? Communication is vital throughout the mechanical department. You must be able to read, write, and speak English. This will be necessary not just in day-to-day communication with coworkers, but in following written instructions, interpreting government regulations, keeping written records, and compiling reports. Good communication is also a powerful way to promote safety. In the mechanical department, we expect you to keep your safety and your coworkers' safety at the top of your mind at all times. In fact, everyone in the mechanical department performs a risk assessment before beginning any task. No matter what your role is in the mechanical department, you'll receive extensive training, both in the classroom and on the job. You'll have the knowledge and skills you need to do your job safely and well. If you continue to excel, you'll have opportunities to advance within the department and the company. It's challenging work. You'll be outdoors in all sorts of weather. The railroad operates rain or snow 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And you may be called to work on holidays and weekends. But it's extremely rewarding work. Our mechanical department keeps our railroad moving, and our railroad powers the nation. At Union Pacific, our diesel mechanics are responsible for the power behind our railroad. They repair and maintain every engine and every mechanical part on more than 8,000 diesel-electric locomotives. Diesel mechanics must have considerable training and experience, especially with machine tools and welding equipment, and also considerable physical strength. You must be able to regularly lift and move objects that weigh 25 pounds, and occasionally move objects that weigh up to 86 pounds. You must be prepared to work in unusual situations, climbing locomotives, walking on catwalks and roofs, and sometimes putting yourself into awkward positions to complete a job. Previous experience or training is a plus for apprentice diesel mechanics, but you'll receive 3 years of formal classroom training and on-the-job training with a journeyman mechanic. Our diesel electricians play an important part in keeping our locomotives on the move. Almost every system on the locomotive is a complex electrical system, and our electricians are responsible for every inspection and repair. As a diesel electrician, you'll use blueprints, schematics, and location circuit plans, and tools and equipment that can't be found in any other shop or construction site. Beyond our fleet of locomotives, you'll also be responsible for lights and other safety appliances used by fellow Union Pacific employees. Diesel electricians must have considerable training and experience. Apprentices will receive up to 3 years of classroom and on-the-job training. As a freight car repairer, you'll help keep Union Pacific's 90,000 freight cars in good working order. It's a big job. If you lined our fleet of freight cars from end to end, they'd stretch 1,250 miles, from Omaha to Phoenix. As a freight car repairer, you'll inspect, repair, and maintain cars using hand tools, power tools, cutting torches, and welding equipment. You'll make pre-trip inspections, keeping an eye on freight, ensuring that loads haven't shifted, and you'll keep the cars cleaned and painted. It's physical work, requiring stamina and agility. You must be able to walk long distances, to stoop and bend, and to be able to lift heavy objects. Freight car repairers must have considerable training and experience. Apprentices will complete a 3-year training program. Think of the mechanical service operator as part of the train's pit crew. In this entry-level position, you'll help get the locomotives back on track, clean and fueled, and keep the shop in shape. Like most other jobs in the mechanical department, this is physical work. You might find yourself working 20 feet off the ground or in tight quarters, and you must be able to lift heavy objects. To qualify for a position in the mechanical department, you must pass a skilled craft battery test. In some instances, the test will be given at a hiring session or with a third-party vendor. You'll then be scheduled for an interview. During this process, you can check your application status at our online applicant account center. If you receive a job offer, you must then successfully complete a medical exam and background check. If you accept a position in the mechanical department, you'll be joining a team of people with vastly different work and life experiences. We value these differences and make every effort to provide a work environment in which every employee is treated fairly and with respect. These values are reflected in our affirmative action and equal opportunity policy. When you join Union Pacific, you join our mission to connect and support communities across America. It's an opportunity to make an excellent living while learning and growing, and an opportunity to be part of something bigger than yourself, to be part of the railroad that moves America forward.
When a locomotive comes in broken, they can be arranged from anything from just lube, oil and water and go, or they can be damaged from knuckle to knuckle where they just need to be totally rebuilt. We do all those things and make sure they're running right. If they're broken, we fix it, anything that's on the locomotive.
Usual day is working the train as a car inspector. We both go down each side of the cars looking for anything that we can find that's bad order or that's a FRA defect. On the air test, one's at the head end, one is at the rear end of the train, and we both, communicate through radios to get that done. On the rip track, you're working as a partner, and you've got to know your partner, and you've got to know how he works.
At the service track, our purpose is to put locomotives back out in the fleet, and a typical day involves giving a line up to the movers, getting the machinists and the electricians to look at the locomotives that are coming across the pit to be put out into service to pull freight.
We'll talk about the conditions of the yard and what kind of, the yard and what kind of condition it's in as far as weather and things that could be going on in the yard with the track work or anything like that.
The way we work SEFA every day is we do risk assessments, we do our scan, notice, and adjust, and we watch out for one another and make sure we're doing everything properly. As a team and as safety-wise, we 100% look out for each other. That's our main goal here, is to look out for one another.
We have two acronyms that we go by, which is downtime and bell cap, and each employee knows what that means. If they don't, we have it posted around in several locations in the shop to keep a constant reminder of what we have to do to be safe. The things that make me proud coming to work is the output that I receive, that I look at some of the things that I've accomplished from working with Union Pacific. They've allowed me to go back to school. The attitudes of some of the people that have actually worked hard all their lives and then finally come to Union Pacific and can make a better living for themselves. And so that makes me feel a little better, about what the company can do for the people.
Union Pacific is a great company to work for. Great pay, great benefits, great retirement, and mostly the brotherhood of everybody you work with is wonderful. They're like your family. You spend as much time out here with them as you do your family a lot of times. So, you grow close to them.
People ask me, do I work for the railroad? They're like, oh, well, you must be a secretary. It's like, no, I have hands-on, I'm a machinist, and you can do it. It's like if you start out on the railroad, there's so many advancements for women, it's just endless possibilities. You take pride in working for a company that's been around that long.